I'm gonna wait just another like minute or two, give people a couple more minutes. All right, I'll go ahead and start. More people coming. Anyone missing summer already? I am. I'm gonna be honest, right? It's early. My kids this morning were so mad. They don't start till Thursday, but they were like, we have to wake up so early. I know it's hard to let go of summer, right? First class of the semester. I'm assuming it had like a 7 a.m. class. That would be the worst. I don't think I could do it, but 8:30 is not too bad. So anyway, hopefully everyone's in the right place. I got here very early. They replaced the boards with whiteboards. We've moved into the 90s now, right? It was like chalkboard for the last 15 years that I've been here. New whiteboards. It's so exciting, right? Little things, right? The projector works. I have whiteboards. It's a good start to the semester. So anyway, welcome, Abnormal Psych. Everyone in the right place? Come on. We'll do all the usual kind of stuff today. Tell you a little bit about myself. Talk about the syllabus. I'll talk more today in like one screen than I probably will any other day of the semester. But we'll get through it all. We'll do a little getting to know you activity. I have some candy to compete for. It's never too early. I've already had like 3 pieces. So if you have some, you're in the clear. I've started for you. We'll talk about the textbook. I have a little homework assignment to help me get to know you a little bit. I'll take attendance and we'll call it a day. So kind of our plan for today. I'm going to hand this out to you and then I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about myself, but let me give you this. They had this new idea this year that we should include a picture of ourselves in our syllabus. So I added one of me with a bunch of churros, just so you can know me really well.
Now, is it the Disney churros or like?
Yes.
Okay.
It's literally at Disney with 8 churros. So I had to take out like a second mortgage for that, right?
Oh.
I didn't eat all 8, I swear.
It's like $100 now.
Right, $100 in churros. All right. Everyone have one? Okay. So obviously the class is abnormal psychology, right? And if you have questions at any point as we go through, if you want to go through this stuff, please feel free to ask again. I won't normally talk so much in one long spree, but I do want to make sure you know what to expect, you know who's standing in front of you, all that kind of fun stuff. So abnormal psychology, you have the day, the time you found the room. Those are all the hardest things, so nice job. My name is Elisa Setmire. Now, my first name, I know it's a little tricky. You're welcome to, as I put on here, you can call me Elisa. You can call me Setmire. You can call me Professor Setmire. Dr. Setmire is alive, but I'll smile at you if you say it. I don't have a doctorate, but those are some of the things that you can call me. And I really like to give you a little bit of information about myself. You're going to be staring at me for like 17 weeks. So I like to tell you a little bit about who's standing in front of you and my background. So in terms of my education, I started at a community college down in San Diego. And I went there for a couple of years, got my AA, like a lot of you are probably working on. I saw a flyer one day for this really pretty place called Humboldt State. So I was all the way down here. And then I went all the way up here, all the way to the other end of California. And no one ever believes me, but I went there for the greenery that is the trees. I'm a huge tree fan, right? I love the trees. I spent a couple of years up in Humboldt, lots of years. We go back there every summer for the sandwiches. They have the best sandwiches up there, right? That's why I go up there, for the food. I'm very food driven. You'll learn this about me quickly if you aren't picking that up already from the churros. Let me give you. So I have a background in counseling psychology, which is great for this class. I was actually training to be a marriage and family therapist, and then I switched over to teaching. So I had about 1,500 hours working toward the MFT license. So I have a very strong background in that. So my master's is in counseling psych, and I was trained as a therapist. I've been teaching now for 15 years. I got my 15-year service award here in our Flex Week last week. I taught for a little bit up in College of the Redwoods in Humboldt State. I moved to Colorado for a year, which was a huge mistake, and then came back to California. So I'm from here, happy to be back here. I've been here at Moore Park for 15 years. So I'm full-time, I'm tenured. I have an office right below us. Here, maybe one of these. I have an office right below us. It's one with like big football stuff in the window. I'm a huge football fan. More on that shortly. So it's easy to get a hold of me and find me, which is nice. I have all my contact information on here. Always better to email me, right? If you have questions, email me. It's always going to be the fastest way. I don't check my phone very often. And when I'm not in my office, I obviously won't get your message until way later. So always email me. My email is on here. My office hours are on here. If you ever want to make an appointment to meet with me, you're always welcome to do so. But that's a little bit about my like education, my teaching, way more fun than all of that. This is a little bit more about me. If I had to sum myself up in one slide, this would be it, right? To me, it's a fun slide. I'm a big fan of the outdoors, right? I love to camp, mainly because of s'mores. This was a really sad s'more summer for me. I only had 3. Normally, I'm in the like mid-50s. I usually have good s'more summers, but this one we didn't do any camping. We did a lot of hiking. We went up to Washington and Oregon and hiked a lot up there. I'm a huge football fan. Brady was my guy for years. Now I'm kind of lost a little bit, but I love football. I play in multiple fantasy football leagues. I have a trophy in my office if you'd like to come see it. I won last year. I took money from my colleagues last year, but I run a couple of leagues here on campus. Big football fan. I love baseball as well. I coach my kids' soccer teams and softball teams, so I spend a lot of time doing that. It starts in like a week, and I'm gonna be exhausted and sore. But I love to coach their sports. I'm obsessed with escape rooms. Anyone in here like escape rooms? Yeah. Oh, a bunch of you. I've done 105. I'm very excited about that number, right? I took my kids, they've done like 19 or 20 of them as well. Like we like to do them with our kids now. They're getting a little older, so they're more fun doing them than they used to be. Escape rooms are my thing. Love movies. I play the guitar. I love cruising. Cruising's like my favorite thing in the world right now. I'm going on one in November. I had a countdown, but I forgot the number of days, but it's coming up in November. I'm very excited about that. I've only been on like 3 or 4, but the food on a cruise, oh, it's the best. I can gain like 10 pounds in a week. It's a respectable goal, right? I love to cruise. I have some shows up here that I love. I'm a big fan of this time of year, right? Football, horror movies, Halloween. We decorated for Halloween yesterday in my house. So it's happy back to school Halloween. It's kind of a tradition we have. But I love the holidays. I love the fall, bunch of shows that I'm into. I love cake. I put it down in the bottom corner. I didn't have that on there for years. And somebody was like, you talk about cake all the time, but it's not on your slide. So I fixed that, right? Chocolate cake, and I love coffee. Right. So a little bit about me, just so you kind of know the person standing in front of you. My daughter told me that I have to tell you my favorite color is brown. I'm not sure why, but she told me I had to share that with you. So I'm holding my promise. A couple other things. I've been with my partner now. We've been married for 21 years. We just celebrated our anniversary, 21 long years. She was like, you don't have me in your slides. So I added her and I added the cake, right? The cake came first, but she doesn't need to know that, right? I have 9 beautiful children. 9. Here's a bunch of them though, right? Here's 6 of them. So 1 dog named Oso, my fat chunky cat named Rolly, that's my boy. Noodle, he's our newest addition. They named him after a Noodle from Wonka, right? Long cat, really long cat. Binks, got him right before Halloween. Whiskey and Squash, the one girl, all boys, except for one girl, right? Named Squash. She would almost water bottles. My kids named her, but Squash, much better. Squash Carrots is her formal name. Then I do also have 3 two-legged children. My oldest, Kaya, who is 12 going on like 18 right now. So angsty. Everyone's always like, they get moody, and I didn't believe it. Yeah, it's true. But she's great. I love her anyway, right? This is Kaya. I coach her softball team. I have twins that are 10, Emma and Paisley. This is Emma, my very sassy, self-identified goth witch. She's 10 and she's like very into her gothic identity right now. And then her little sister by 1 minute, which matters with twins, Paisley. So lots of children, some of them 4 legs, some 2 legs, but big part of my life. So I thought I would share them with you. So that's me. That's a little bit about me, probably more than you needed to know, but I think it's important to share. And then my picture with 8 churros before I handed them out to everybody. I only eat 1, right? That at that point during the day, probably make way more than. But anything so far? I don't know if you have questions about me, but anything else you want to know? Again, Elisa or Setmire or Professor Setmire, an office downstairs, an email. Always going to be the best way. Get a hold of me. Let's talk a little bit more about the rest of the syllabus, the things that brought you here. Oh, is that a hand? No, okay, I got excited, right? Come on, you're on this week. So abnormal psychology is the name of our class. There's a little description here, and then all of the stuff that we're going to cover. So we're going to cover all the core concepts related to this topic. I have to tell you that this is probably my very favorite class of all the classes that I teach. You're not supposed to have favorites with kids or classes or whatnot, but this was the class that made me fall in love with psychology. I took intro psych and I hated it. It was at like 8 in the morning. My teacher was brand new. It was nothing but like facts. And I took one more class before I gave up, and it was this one, and I loved it. So this one kind of has a special spot for me. And then again, with my background, I'm very well trained in this area. I'm gonna let you look over the objectives and learning outcomes. So if you want to flip to page 2 of the syllabus, you will need a book for this class. I've given you a little QR code, which you can scan. It'll take you right to the publisher website if you want that. You can obviously get the book at the bookstore. Explore your options though. I'm not telling you not to get it at the bookstore, but there are lots of other options for where you can get it. I'm going to be using this one, which is the current and like the best version. It will match up the closest with what I'm doing. So it looks like that, or this in person. If you are tight on money, you can get the older one and it will be okay. It's not going to line up perfectly, but it's quite a bit cheaper. I would rather you get that than nothing at all, but pretty important that you get the book. You're going to need to be reading it and kind of following along. I'm not going to cover everything in the book. We'll kind of fill in gaps. Has anyone purchased the book already? Anyone? Not yet? Yeah? Did you get it here or where'd you?
My best friend, she had the birthday.
Nice. Okay. That's exciting, right? It's always nice when you get it for free. Right? Anybody else get the book yet? Yeah? Did you get it here or where did? Online? You don't remember how much it was? Okay. Nice. Okay, so do some research, right? Is it this one? Okay. So again, look around, but try and get it. They have it at the bookstore. You can get it. You can rent it. You can purchase like an ebook version of it. There's a ton of options. So just make sure you get one of them. We will start using the book on Wednesday in the sense that we'll start chapter 1. You don't need to bring it with you. If there's ever a day you need it, I'll tell you, but otherwise you can just kind of leave it at home. But definitely make sure you're reading along and that you have that. You'll also probably want to download a couple of apps. I'll talk more about those later. And you probably will need a computer at some point with access to the internet in order to take the exams and turn in some of our assignments. Other than that, That's kind of the one main thing that you need. So try and get that as soon as you can. I have some like policies and codes of conduct on here. I really want you to be here, right? So be here as often as you can. Right? It's strange. It's post-COVID. I don't know if we're post-COVID, but like since COVID, class sizes are so different. Right? They're so much smaller, which is kind of nice in a way, right? It makes for like a nicer group, I think. But please try and be here as much as you can. When assignments are due, I expect them to be turned in on time. I do have a little bit of a leeway with like the one paper assignment that I write. Please don't copy or cheat. There's a whole policy for the campus on that. I have it on here. And then we have to include the Title IX and smoking policies that are on here as well. I'll let you read through those on your own. And then we'll go to page 3. We're flying through. Any questions so far or anything? Summer is definitely feeling far away at this point, right? Like as we're getting into it. Anyway, I really want this to be an environment where all of you talk, right? You don't want mine to be the only voice that you hear all semester. So I hope that you'll share thoughts and questions and stories. I guarantee every single one of you knows somebody that you either think has a mental illness or you know has a mental illness, right? I would love to hear your questions and stories and thoughts as we go through. Let's just try and be really respectful and mindful of each other and always keep it like really positive in here as much as we can and show respect for each other. Please try not to talk over each other during class or over me. It gets loud really quickly, and it might be distracting for people who struggle to pay attention to one voice, let alone multiple. Try and be here on time. I know this week is a little hectic as we're settling in, but try and be here on time. Plan to stay the whole time. I will never keep you late and I'll always start like pretty close to right on time. So please try and be here as much as you can. Your phones and technology, mine is here, it's on, it's definitely out. I will probably use it. I don't mind if your phones are on and out. Just obviously try and keep it to a minimum. If you have to answer your phone, step out, obviously. I still have colleagues who take phones. Like I have the 15, like, so I don't need an upgrade. So I keep my phone. You can have your phone out. I don't mind. There might even be times that we use it, like next class. We'll do a little Kahoot activity. You can look things up. You can take notes on your phone. So just try and keep it to a minimum. If you want to take notes with a laptop or a tablet, totally fine. I just ask if the screen is up and the people behind you can see it, that you're on task. And if you know that you're not going to be on task, maybe sit toward the back so it's not distracting for the people around you. I am not capable of like not looking at fantasy football news like sporadically, so I would need to sit toward the back. As far as assignments and stuff go, I'm big on attendance, right? As I mentioned, I really want you to be here. We're gonna do 10 random little 10-point activities, and they might be a small homework assignment. It might be an in-class activity, like a group work kind of thing. If you're here, you can do them and earn those points. If you're not here, there's a chance you'll miss them. If it's a homework assignment, you might still be able to get it in on time, but try and be here as much as you can. They're kind of gonna be random. Some of them, again, will be homework. And I'll give you an opportunity to make some connections next class so that hopefully in this class you can have somebody to reach out to. Exams, you'll take 3 exams in here. They're gonna be online. So this is something that I changed as a result of COVID. Rather than sit here in anxiety together, I'm gonna let you take all of your exams on campus. So on the exam days, we won't actually have scheduled class. It'll be exam time online. And I'll talk more about that when we get closer, but you can use your notes and your book. There's really no reason you shouldn't do fantastically on all of them. I just thought it was a nice way to lower anxiety. And I hope that's true, right? I hope that works for all of you. I'll always give you a study guide. And so you'll know what to prepare, you'll know what to study. Next, the last thing that you'll have in here is you'll write a paper. I think this is like as fun as you can get for a paper. Like papers are never fun, right? But you're gonna be picking a character from a TV show or a movie or even a video game, whatever interests you. And you're gonna be writing a paper and diagnosing them. So you can start thinking about that. We'll talk about it as we go along. But it's going to be like a 3-part assignment. You'll turn in a character selection, then like a little bit of a rough draft, and then a final paper. And again, as far as papers go, I hope it's kind of interesting. So start thinking about a character that you want to spend more time examining, and that'll be one that you'll write about for this paper. You can see the distribution for grades. Everything's just based on points. So you can see kind of and how that all falls out right here. Are there any questions so far about the assignments, about anything that we've talked about, anything for now? If you have a memo with accents, please make sure you get that to me as soon as you can, so I can get you all set up with whatever accommodations you might need. Taking notes, so I added this semester. I'd really like to encourage you to take notes during class. You probably know by now what works for you, but if you're listening to my voice, looking at the slides, and writing things, or typing things, that's 3 different methods of encoding information. You're gonna be more likely to remember it and hold on to it. On Wednesday, I'm gonna let you kind of pair up with people around you and hopefully find some people to help you with notes, or if you miss. So more on that on Wednesday, but something I would definitely encourage, especially if you miss a class. I'd also like to say that I record the class lectures. Okay, so there's no video, it's just audio, it's just my voice and the slides. And it's quiet enough that your voices don't really show up on there, right? I've tested it quite a bit over the last couple of years. So if you miss a class, the video or the audio of the lecture will be on Canvas. So you'll be able to actually watch it to get caught up. As long as technology cooperates, right? Sometimes the internet in this building is pretty awful, especially the Wi-Fi. It's horrible. So as long as everything works, the lectures will be recorded and you'll be able to watch them later. There's some links on here about student tech support and like college information if you need the drop calendar for student services, all of that is on here. So I'll take a look at those if you need it. And then one last page here. You can see our schedule, right? So today, just kind of introductions and syllabus. And then on Wednesday, we'll start chapter 1. And I'll stick to this as closely as possible and make it a little ahead, a little behind. But the exam days will be pretty static. They're not going to change, barring the emergency. But you can see the days we have an exam, the days we don't have class. You can see when my cruise is the week of Thanksgiving, right? My planned absence, I'll be eating and thinking of you as I eat, right, on the cruise ship. Out of Miami, I'm very excited. So you can see those days, you can see when the exams are, the assignments are due and so on. And again, should stay pretty close to it unless something comes up. So hold on to this document, right? Not a bad idea to hold on to it for a while, like store it somewhere in case you need it when you transfer, but definitely hold on to it at least through this semester. That way you know what we're covering and when, how to get a hold of me, what your grade will be made up of and all of that kind of stuff. Are there any questions about this for now? Yeah. No, so no quizzes at all in here, just the exams and then those 10 assignments, which will kind of build on the things and help reinforce them, but no quizzes. You're welcome. And the final's not cumulative either, right? So you're welcome for that too. I always thought cumulative finals are the worst, so I don't give them. Is that a?
Let's say I was in the library and I don't have access to a text, or do you have access to it in the library too?
It should be on reserve in the library. So I think you can only check it out for like an hour or two in the library, but it should be there. And if any of you go to get it and it's not there, let me know, but I put one in the spring. So usually they're there for a year. Anything else for now about the syllabus? So obviously if you're sick, don't come. Like this is something that we're all still kind of, dealing with in our environment. If you're sick, stay home. Again, things are recorded. You can get notes from a classmate. I would rather you err on the side of not getting all of us sick if you're not feeling well. If I'm not feeling well, I probably won't come either, right? Just to kind of model that as much as possible. Everything will be on Canvas as long as it cooperates. If you ever miss a class, consider reaching out to a classmate for notes. Hey, did we have an assignment today? Can I get notes from you? And again, we'll make some connections next class for that. You can always email me as well. If there was a homework assignment on a day that you miss, you can still turn it into me, right? If you're going to miss, you just have to email it to me before the class that it was due. So just kind of be mindful if you're not feeling well, again, stay home. I think that's a good general rule to have. There's 2 apps that I would encourage you to download. You're welcome to do it now, though the Wi-Fi, as I said, is horrible in here, but at some point before next class, if you don't have the Canvas app, this is a really helpful thing to have. If I cancel a class for some reason and you have it set up on your phone, it will text you or email you that class is canceled, so you don't wake up early for nothing. Reminders on there, you can access the notes and the slides and everything on there. And then we'll use Kahoot a couple of times in here. Definitely next class. We'll probably use it the most next class of all semester. But two things that I would recommend downloading if you can, if you bring like a phone or a tablet, download these two and you'll be all good to go. Let's see, what else do I want to say here? I would also encourage you to find me on these two platforms, right? You don't have to because we're in person, but as we all know, things can change very quickly. Most of us have experienced that. So find me on YouTube and Twitch. You don't necessarily have to subscribe unless like we have to go virtual for some reason, which I really hope doesn't happen. But find me on YouTube, find me on Twitch, and set your Canvas notifications. So they're all just kind of little things that will help you to be successful, and things to ideally try and do like today or tomorrow before I see you on Wednesday. I love that little cat. Looks like my cat Binks, right? Questions about anything so far? I've talked so much, I know, but I'm gonna do something that everyone hates. I'm so sorry, but it was such a mean person. My partner told me I was mean. She's a teacher too. She teaches at Royal. So I really want to get to know your names. I'm awful at names. So I learned something about myself like 3 years ago. I have something called aphantasia, which is really rare. And I had no idea, my whole life, no idea. I can't picture things in my mind very well. And so I have a really hard time putting names and faces together. So like I have a few things to try and help me learn your names. What I'm gonna have you do is we're just gonna weave our way through the room. It'll only take a second. I promise you don't have to stand up or anything. My 12-year-old daughter said I was mean too. So I'm feeling mean right now. I'm so sorry. What I'm gonna have you do is share your name. And then we'll see your major if you have one. And if you don't, that's fine. That's what you're here for, right? To kind of figure out what interests you. And then you can share how about your favorite food? Let's go with that. Nice and easy, really light, right? Your favorite food. So your name, your major if you have one, and then your favorite food or drink. I'll give you an option. And I'm gonna start with you in just a second. And again, we'll just read our way through. It should only take a second. But my goal here is to show you that you talked once and you can do it again, right? Later in the semester. So name, major, food or drink.
Sharon Rubin, psychology, and
Nice.
Matt, psychology and philosophy.
Great. Nice. All right, we'll start back.
Paola. Oh, my major.
Yeah.
Radiology. And green. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
My name is Jay. I major psychology and physics blue and pasta sushi.
Okay.
Brandy, psychology. I don't have a favorite food, but my favorite food is
My daughter's.
and Alex. I think your psychology. My favorite food would have to be a red rice. Mama.
Okay.
My name is Riley. I'm still in high school, and my favorite food is
Great. We don't have sushi.
psychology and French cracker.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
Sorry, I don't have any psychology and love class, but they're very specific classes around my classes.
Okay. I love it.
Vince, criminal justice and talks.
Nice. Nice.
My name is Zane, I major psychology and my favorite food is Philly cheesesteak.
Okay.
I'm Devon, undergraduates from CSUN, geography and earth science, but grad school, hopefully in college advising.
All right. And food or drink?
Oh, I'll say Strava.
All right. Okay.
Aiden, psychology, and that's it, pizza.
All right. Nice.
My name is Iliana. My major is psychology and my favorite food is french fries.
Nice. I love it. We'll go up and then we'll work away.
My name is Giselle. I'm psychology and my favorite food
Great. All right.
My name's Sarah. I'm a psych major and my favorite food is teleport.
Ooh, nice.
My name is Diane. My name is psychology and my favorite food is residency.
Okay, all right. You all did it. You survived, right? Nice job. I know it's intimidating to talk, but we have a nice small group. I really, again, hope that you do share and feel comfortable talking in here. We'll do a lot of little like group things, which I think are less intimidating, but please feel free at any time if you have questions or thoughts. I would love to hear them, right? So thank you. You shared once and know you can do it again. And I think it's important, even though it's uncomfortable. So thank you. Hopefully it wasn't too mean of me, right? Again, I feel mean for doing it because everyone told me I was, but it's important. So thank you. A couple of other things here. We'll do that in a minute. How many of you have been on our Canvas site? Anyone been on there yet? Quite a few of you. You will use the Canvas site throughout the semester. So if you haven't been on there yet, please be sure to check it out and kind of familiarize yourself with it. You'll see on here that there's some course documents, contact information, help and campus resources. And then over here, announcements. You can access a bunch of materials that are on here, assignments, the exams, your grade. If I'm ever going to communicate with all of you, it will be through Canvas. So let's say I have to cancel a class or I want to remind you of an assignment, it's going to come as an announcement from Canvas. So again, set those notifications so you get it by email or text or whatever you would prefer. If you click on modules on here, you'll be able to see the syllabus, for example. There's some textbook information. There's information about the paper and some sample ones, which we'll talk about later, but if you want to kind of get an idea of what other people did. There's some stuff here about like guides and things. You'll have those always to access for exams. If you don't know how to set your Canvas notifications, I have that on here, how to find me on Twitch and YouTube, how to find your grades. I have a bunch of kind of things on here to help you if you need them. I teach a lot online as well. So I have a lot of like online resources. And then our PowerPoint slides will always be on here as well. All right, so you'll find our video recordings on here and our PowerPoint slides. And so, for example, here's the ones from today, and then I have all the ones from the rest of the semester. And then the recordings of our lectures will be posted here. It sometimes takes me a little while. I do have a class right after this, but later on the same day, I'll typically post our class recording. So if you missed something or you missed the class, again, you can go on there and access it. And then if we have some guest speakers or kind of virtual things, I'll post them here as well. So lots of resources there. The announcements are here. The exams will be accessed here as well. When we get closer, we'll talk about that. And then you can always get your grades on here in addition to everything else. Okay, so check this out if you haven't already, but it's there for you. A lot of resources on there. Any questions about Canvas or anything so far? Anything else at the moment? Then let's compete for candy. I think it's candy time. It should always be candy time, right? You're excited. I like it. So I think just kind of as a nice way to hopefully kind of get to know the people around you, we're going to do a little like psychology bingo activity. And so it's more bingo about yourself and the things in your life than psychology. So I guess I could rename it. If you accidentally, I once gave somebody the wrong one. I have a human sexuality class right after this, and it was like slang for penis. And somebody was like, do I really have to write that? So if yours says human sexuality, so like it's the wrong one, ignore it, right? It was pretty funny. I don't know. So it should just be first day of class video. So what you're gonna do is just fill out line number 1 for every box, right? And if you're a Gemini like me and you're torn between two things, you can write both of them. If you don't know, right, I don't know, that's totally fine. This is really low pressure here. But just line number 1 for every box. Last movie you saw in the theater, Puss in Boots, right there. And Twisted. We'll give you a couple more minutes, and again, if you're not sure, or you have two options, it's totally fine.
So we have to put something.
Put something, you can even if it's, I don't know, or something like that. Yeah. What was that? Oh, you're not for me.
I was gonna say maybe dream car.
That one too. I definitely haven't, I could have read a dream. Or does anyone need more time? Pretty good. If you're kind of wrapping up, keep going. That's totally fine. So what we're gonna do from here, is you're gonna try and match what you wrote on line number 1 to other people in the class, right? And there's only about 21 of us in here. So, it might take a few minutes. But what you'll do is you'll go around to other people. So you can start with those around you, but at some point you'll probably have to get up and wander around. If you have the same thing or it's close enough, right, you can write their name on line number 2, and then you've captured that box. If you get 5 across or down or diagonal, I gave you 3 spaces in the middle, then you get bingo, and you can yell it out if you're excited or just come up to me. Either one is fine. I have a bag of candy, right? We'll go till we get like a good number of them, and then we'll move on and you get candy. Let's say, since there aren't a ton of us in here, I normally only let people get 1 from each person, but let's say you can do 2. So no more than 2 boxes from 1 individual, okay? So that way you do have to kind of intermix a little bit. So when you're ready, go ahead and start with the people around you and then keep going. We'll go till we get a few and then we'll move on. But if you get bingo, come up and let me know and their name on my university.
It's like solo.
Okay, well, I was gonna put that, but at work I'm very. So I think I can't even show people like one basket. You both said target. Was it target? Yeah.
Gosh, I
I do have.
It doesn't reflect how it looks, but only because somebody.
Yeah.
And she's all right. Hi, how are you? Keep this here in the middle.
Okay, this not to be explained. Usually. I would.
Like it. I know. Too many things. Dogs, turtles, and birds. Yeah. You also have phone charging your back? Oh, we all did it, right? Also had it. Same. Oh, not yet.
Oh,
I don't think so. I know. We have 8. Yeah. Have to say. I do.
This is not much. I just saw you and so.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Sarah.
So I have a
I know, I actually.
And then you go into happy.
You're gonna make.
Yeah.
No, this is what- So. You can do that, and we should be okay. Have someone to check in with every day. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. Bingo. All right, nice job. All right, and you can keep going if you want, okay, or you can say you want. Thank you, sure.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get a few more. We got 3 so far. Oh.
I'm sorry. Because you interviewed, before, right? Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, I feel like I remember you before. Like, I mean, 3 calls.
Oh, no.
Okay, never. There's nothing to do. If it's all you're not really well, then there would be no.
Well, I couldn't get anything else. I don't know what's You are.
No,
What? Yes. Wait, somebody.
But last.
I got one. I love it. All right. Perfect. Okay, go ahead. All right, keep going.
Like, I can't drive. Oh, no. Almost put me out. That's right. You don't have a name.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, it's like it's eight.
I took her with them all the time. You're walking out. You get close real fast.
Perfect. Okay, grab a piece of candy. All right, if you have bingo, come on. You have 7, that's not bad. That bingo? All right, perfect. Where are we at? Excellent. Go ahead and grab a piece of candy. All right. A forever. All right, go ahead and take a seat. We'll move on. I want to get a piece of candy from you. All right. So hopefully you got to a lot of you look that you interacted with most everybody, so I think that is fantastic. Hopefully, your classmates are a great resource, not only for notes, but like studying, for connections, right? So it's nice to have a chance to kind of get to know each other a little bit. We'll do a lot of little important things, which will also add to that. And if you're sad that you didn't get candy, my office, I always have candy in my office. So if you come say hi, you can help yourself to some candy. You have to at least say hi. I once had someone run in, grab a piece and run out. So now I'm like, please at least say hi. right? But my office is even decorated for Halloween. Halloween, oh, and I'm ready to go. And Halloween candy bar. It's not a lot, but it's okay. So, anyway, a couple other things and then we'll be done for today. I'll just leave it on that. I want to talk just a little bit about how I teach the class. And then I'll give you your first little homework assignment. It's little, but it'll help me get to know you a little bit. I'll take attendance and we'll be done. So like 3 more things to go and then we'll be out of here. I'm a very laid back person, right? And I probably share things that I shouldn't. If something comes in my mind, I will say it to all of you for better or worse. So usually not for worse. It's just random sometimes. But I tend to be very laid back. I use a lot of humor, but I do have high expectations, right? And I think some that doesn't always come across. So I want to let you know that as long as you're studying and reading and working, you'll be fine in here, right? I will always set you up for success. You'll have study guides, be very clear always with what I'm expecting and needing of you. So as long as you're putting in effort, you should be in really good shape. Typically what classes will look like is I'll have PowerPoint slides, and as you saw, they're already on Canvas, and I'll be lecturing to those slides. I use a lot of little video clips. I really love bringing in examples from like pop culture, whether it's songs or movies or shows. As a side note, if you ever have a good example, because you're way more connected to pop culture than I will ever be, unless it's like a 10 to 12-year-old thing, and then I might have these really, because of my kids. Please share it with me. And if I have time, I'll share it with all of you. And so if you ever have a great example of like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what we were talking about, or this clip reminds me of whatever, share it, right? And I'll be happy to share it with all of you. I'm not going to cover everything, right? There will be some chapters that I don't lecture on, and it's maybe a little more flipped in the sense that, like, for example, the chapter on childhood disorders, we'll watch a film and you'll be diagnosing a character in the film, and then we'll talk about the film as it relates to the chapter rather than like a traditional lecture. Or I might skip some things in the book and you'll see them on the study guide, and they won't have been covered in class, but they will be something I want you to know from the textbook. So again, be reading. We'll do lots of, as I said, little group activities. Really important to communicate with me, right? If something comes up, if you're struggling, I'm not going to have any idea unless you tell me. So if something's going on in your life and it's making school really hard, let me know, right? If you're sick and you're not going to be able to be here, let me know, right? Communicate with me, communicate with your classmates, and I think that's going to help you be successful. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to let you know. I think that's everything. Are there any questions at all about anything that we've talked about so far today? The syllabus, the website, the way the class will work, anything? So your first homework assignment is going to be, this is the first of those 10-point activities. This will be due next class. I'm going to give you an index card. If you lose this card, any card is fine, okay? But I want to start you off with materials. So on the card, and you're welcome to write this now as we're talking about it. And if you forget what needs to be on it, you can take a picture or remember the slides are on Canvas. But I'm going to give you a card, and you can format it however you would like. I've given you an example. That was me on my cruise in March on the steps of the Mayan ruins. I was like 19 hamburgers into the cruise at that point. I judge my cruises by how many guys' burgers I ate. Again, if you lose this, even a piece of paper is fine, but this is probably the way to start. So you're going to want to give me your name. If you prefer to go by something other than your registered name, you can write that on there as well, just so I can start putting those two together. Give me a picture of yourself. It can be color, it can be black and white, it can be photo paper, or it can just be regular paper, whatever you can have access to. But give me a picture of you. If there's more than one person in it, like give me an arrow to you so I can put the name and face together. If you find me on YouTube and Twitch, you can put this on here. If you don't worry about that part. But again, not a bad idea to find me on those two platforms. I do post a lot of videos on there related to psychology in general, so it could be something that's helpful. Tell me something interesting about yourself, whatever you want to share with me, right? It could be random or it could be related to our class, whatever you would like to share. And then why are you taking the class? right? Is it something for your major? Were you interested? What, right? And feel free to be honest. I won't be offended or anything either way. But this will be due next class. And again, you can format it however you like, but that's kind of how I did my example. Also, don't forget before next class to try and get your textbook, right? To try and download those apps, the Kahoot and Canvas apps, and then find me on those platforms online. So just kind of a couple of reminders to leave you with. What I will do from here is I'll take attendance and then we'll call it a day. And if you have any questions, you can kind of come up and ask me at that point. Let's see, where did I put my sheets? Too many pages. And I'm so sorry in advance if I mess up your name. My name is Elisa. You can imagine how many times my name has been messed up. People think I'm male. It's like Elijah, Harrison Rose, and it's Elsa all the time. So if I mess up your name, I'm sorry. Please correct me. I will work on it. And if you prefer to go by something else, let me know as well. I'll make that change. I'll do this for this week and next week. And then I'll just hand out a sheet every time. So just for 4 classes to make sure everyone is doing that. We'll be done. All right. So we go. Again, if I messed it up, then I'll do Riley. Paolo.
Here.
Giselle. Aiden. Victoria. Jeremy. Okay. Vince.
Here.
Alex. Sarah.
Here.
Heidi. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Ashley. Okay, Alana. Dane.
Here.
Matthew. Coleman. Lana. Serena. Sharon. Here. Javon. Taylor. Taylor Van Litter. And then one more, Brandon. Okay, if I didn't call your name, come check in with me. If you have questions, come check in with me. If you're really sad you didn't get, you can take one before you go. It's a tough day, right? We're coming back from summer. We need all the sugar we can get. Good luck with your other classes. I hope I see you Wednesday. Don't forget to do all these things. And yeah, I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good rest of the day. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care. Yeah, that's totally fine. I'll bring them and you can just grab another one.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.